To the WDSU News Hot Seat. Tonight, we have one of our debates, and it's a big one, the special election for Jefferson Parish Council District 1. That's a district that encompasses a great part of the West Bank of Jefferson Parish. Marion Edwards stepped down from that seat. That's why we're having this election. 3 people qualified to run. They are all here tonight. They are Mayor Tim Kerner, a Republican from Jean Lafitte, Andrea Manuel, a Democrat from the West Bank, and Ricky Template, a Republican from the West Bank as well. Thanks for being here. We have a lot of questions to get to. I don't want to rush, but let's just get right to opening statements. We're going to start with you, Mayor Kerner. You have 60 seconds to let people know why you feel you are the best candidate in this election.
Well, look, thank you for having us, Travis, and thank you to WDSU. My name is Tim Kerner, Jr., and I'm running to unite the West Bank, not only with just words, but with actions that really benefit every community in this district. My opponent has served for long enough. He's already served his time, and he was term limited out for a reason. The West Bank now needs more than ever new ideas and fresh leadership to move it forward. Not the same old faces from the same old recycled promises of the past. The West Bank needs change. It needs change desperately, and I'm ready to deliver that change for the people of District 1, the people of the West Bank, and the people of Jefferson Parish.
All right, way to start us off good. You came in under 60 seconds. No bell. You will hear a bell if you hit the time, too. Ms. Manuel, you have 60 seconds. You're the only Democrat in this race. Let people know why you feel you're the best candidate.
Thank you for having us. Again, my name is Andrea Manuel. I'm a wife, a mother of 4. I'm a business owner. I'm a graduate of Xavier University. I've lived in North America, South America, and Central America. I have Spanish as my second language. I appreciate the many cultures that's in District 1, and for that reason, I am running for this seat because it's time that all residents from Gretna to Grand Isle and every town in between is heard, is seen, and is valued. So what I love most about this area is it is a world-renowned place for Gretna Fest and the Tarpon Rodeo. I look forward to continuing the many traditions that's in Gretna, in Terrytown, and the District 1. I not only want to continue to support those things, but I plan to foster new ideas. I am the best candidate for District 1. Thank you, Andrea Manuel, vote number 5.
Thank you, Ms. Manuel. Mr. Temple, you get to wrap us up. You have 60 seconds to let voters know why you feel you're the best person on the ticket.
And once again, thank you for having us here today. Look, as I have served as District 1 councilman, and I have secured over $1 billion for the West Bank, from Gretna to Westwego to Marrero to Crown Point, Lafitte, and Barataria. I have covered unsightly canals, improved lighting, added walking trails, created the major crime task force that protects the West Bank from crime with a 90% conviction rate. I have made smooth streets and proper drainage and heavily invested in coastal protection. And I'm excited to be able to keep those type of projects forward, making a better quality of life for each of us on the West Bank. And meanwhile, my opponent, Lil Timmy Kerner, has been ousted recently as president of the Lafitte Levy Board, and his town is nearly bankrupt under his leadership. And this election is about accountability. And I have the record of proven success, and by appointment, I have a record. I'm done.
Okay. Really quickly, about 10 seconds. Would you like to address that, Mr. Kerner? Really quickly, because we want to get to a lot.
Well, the levy district, when you face these big boys, when you face a political machine, you have to overcome challenges like that. But as far as bankrupting a town, we have a surplus of $900,000. We charge no property tax, and we have $38 million of assets. So I would ask the councilman who served this district for 12 years to do his homework a little bit before making false statements.
No. Look, we want to get everything covered here. Let's start this question with you, Ms. Manuel. It's a broad JP question right now because whoever joins the council will be joining them in progress right now. Water mains being red is a big issue. Also, streamlining planning and permitting. It's a nightmare for some people in Jefferson Parish. In 60 seconds, how would you work with your colleagues, if elected, to work on those 2 key issues?
The first thing I would do when elected, I would take a deep dive research on all of the material. I will be privileged to the documents and the council and everyone that's involved in the policies and procedures that is addressed in this. And so the first thing I would do is I would get my team together and we would understand what's at hand and we would work for a reasonable result to all those solutions.
All right, 60 seconds, Mr. Templin. What would be your plan to work with your colleagues on the council on water meters being read properly and streamlining planning and permitting?
Well, that process is already in force. Before I left, we passed a $80 million program to replace all water meters throughout the whole parish to new digital readable meters, to where actually your cell phone could be attached Wi-Fi to your water meter. So if you have your home and you're on vacation and all of a sudden you have a high volume of water being used, you get an alert to let you know that your meter is running and either flooding your home or water is being wasted. So that program is actually in place today.
All right, in 60 seconds, Mr. Kerner, what would your plan be dealing with those two big council issues, water meters being read properly and then streamlining planning and permitting?
As far as the water meters, you know, my opponent states that he already corrected the problem, but if you listen to the concerns of the residents, it is a nightmare for them. They're being charged more on their bill than what's actually being consumed. I know in 5 years they have a plan which is going to be app-based where it would go directly, the people's water meters would go directly to an app where everybody could check on their own water usage. Now, I think in the meantime, we need to develop a system where the people checking the water meters actually are taking pictures and uploading it. Now, as far as the red tape that we're experiencing, it's at all-time high. And again, my opponent's been there for 12 years and it's only gotten worse. And speaking personally from Hurricane Ida, it was almost impossible for these people to come back because of the parish's red tape. And that needs to change. We need to streamline it. We even seen in California after the forest fires that they actually waived these code requirements to focus on the rebuild. And Jefferson Parish failed to do that. And if I get in there, I'm going to make sure that we cut that red tape so people can continue to build and elderly people get hurt by hurricanes can have an easier time doing it.
In about 10 seconds, do you want to say anything about what he said since he did address you?
Yeah, actually, in the areas outside the levee protector system since Ida, they haven't had to receive a water bill until the last couple of months. So they wasn't being charged for water outside the levee protector system to help those individuals.
All right, here's another 60-second one. We'll start with you. When it comes to discretionary council funding, everybody feels, or a lot of people, and we get calls and emails and you hear this, that Gretna gets the lion's share. In the last 3 years, about 15 million of 19 million in discretionary funding from District 1 went to the city of Gretna. If you are elected, how do you make sure that other areas get their fair share? Other places like Marrero, Tarrytown, Harvey, Grand Isle.
Well, let me just say this. There's a lot, 90% of the taxes collected are dedicated millages, okay? So you have a very small amount of money that is considered discretionary funds. Okay, but in saying that, the 12 years that I represented 8 years I represented District 1, okay, and at large, over $54 million went to Lafitte area, okay, and projects, okay? So just to pick 3 years out of that and say this is what we only got in 3 years, we're not looking at the broader picture and seeing what's truly happening.
But really quickly, is there a plan? Would you try to make sure that discretionary funds are spent throughout the parish?
Oh, most definitely. Okay. I mean, money needs to go where it's needed, not where it's wanted.
All right, same question for you, Mayor Kerner. If you are elected in 60 seconds, how would you use discretionary funds in District 1? Because we are talking millions of dollars here.
Yeah, look, I'm going to bring fairness. We haven't had fairness in about 13 years. I've pulled out the public records request where we actually show which community gets what. And the fact is, people could say that, they're going to bring fairness or they had fairness, but if you look at the numbers, the people in Marrero, you got about 3% of the $20 million the last 3 years. People in Harvey, you got 0.1%. You make up 12.5% of that population. The people of Tarrytown, you've only received 3%, even though you make up 21% of this population. That is unacceptable. That's why our parks in the neighborhoods look the way they do. That's why our economy stagnated. And to be honest with you, Travers, the trickle-down effect that's going on in District 1 where all 90% of the dollars or 81% of the dollars goes in one small community, it's not benefiting the whole West Bank. What it's doing is it's only benefiting that community. And if I have the opportunity, I will make sure that we bring fairness and people get funds based on their population, because everyone loves their community and they deserve the same treatment.
Same question, Ms. Manuel. If you're elected, in the last 3 years, about 90% of the money from discretionary funds went to Gretna. How would you work to try to make sure that other communities didn't feel left out?
Thank you for that question. When I'm elected, the first method that I would use towards fairness is having community input. I live in Gretna, Terrytown. I'm a part of that community, and I do not remember receiving any type of input on the discretionary funds on how they were being spent. So that's the first thing I would do, is find a method to include community input, because fiscal prudence is important. That's a vital responsibility as a council person. So to all of the voters in District 1, I pledge to give you community input.
Mr. Kerner, in 60 seconds, here's kind of a direct question. There's been a lot going on social media. Unfortunately, sometimes it's the underbelly of the beast with these election cycles. There have been some chatter, some allegations that your father, a state rep, the former mayor, is making calls. Is everything that he's doing and people are doing above board, in your opinion, in 60 seconds?
Look, without a doubt, when you run against the political machine, you hear all kind of crazy things. In reality, the call I believe they're referring to, I never actually heard it, but it was about the people that worked the storm. These people worked the storm. Some of them had damaged homes night and day. Now, Jefferson Parish assumed the contract and assumed responsibility to pay these people. So if I'm elected, as Jefferson Parish Councilman, I am going to ensure that my first meeting is going to be getting the parish officials together and getting these guys paid for the hard work they did. So I would tell everyone that worked that storm that if I do win this race, I'm going to make sure you get paid because you deserve it.
60 seconds, a direct question for you, Ms. Manuel. You ran for a state rep seat. Unfortunately, you were not victorious in that one. You don't have a broad base of political support like your opponents. Why do you feel you're the best candidate for this? Because this is a serious political position.
The reason I feel like I am in the best position, I do not have any outside sources that is endorsing me. That is not a weakness, but I see it as a strength. That means I have no allegiance to anyone but the voters. The voters are my endorsers. And because of that, I will have full attention and support of the community. That is my job.
All right, 60 seconds, Mr. Templin. A direct one for you. You probably know where we're going with this. There was a website launched that made allegations about a piece of property that you own in Lafitte. Is everything that you have done with that property above board?
Yes, sir, absolutely above board. It was a federal program that went through. Look, I own property in Lafitte for 30 years. Flooded my home just like everyone else 3 times and 4 times and qualified to raise the home. I waited 16 years to raise the home to the last part of the program to allow everybody to get in before I tried to apply. Everything is above board. The address is one residence, 4969 DeKalb Street, and that's the only address. But I have a couple seconds left, so I want to mention on the comment about comments made about someone making statements. I have in my hand right here, and I call this quid pro quo. If my son gets elected, we can make sure you can actually make sure you guys get paid. Okay, I want to hand this to you. Okay, and the gentleman sitting in your sitting room right now, who is the gentleman that was told to and recorded the conversation, and I would recommend that you chat with him and see if the truth is being told.
All right, would you like a guy to respond to that?
Yeah,
Please feel free, Mr.
I would love to
Kerner.
respond to that.
Okay.
Because if Mr. Ricky did his homework, he would know that the parish assumed all these payments September 12th because they were not prepared to clean up that storm, and they assumed our operation because we were actually cleaning up Lower Lafitte, Barataria, and Crown Point. So any disputes with any kind of contractors, it actually goes to the company Ramjay and then is approved by Jefferson Parish. So if I'm elected, I feel these guys deserve to get paid. So if I'm elected, I'm going to make sure they get paid.
All right.
Well, that's a comment from an elected official stating, if you help my son get elected, you get paid.
A guy that lives in Plaquemines Parish. And let's just backtrack to his house. This house was a raised home. He got grant money for an elevated home. One of the reasons why I'm in this race, Travers, you do not benefit. I've seen people like Pam Mankalot, people like Miss Shirley Nagel, lose everything. And you do not get a brand new home and get to keep your old home with this program when your home's already raised.
And is that what happened here, or did you follow everything by the? Okay.
My structure became an accessory building, and I had to demolish anything under water level. But if we're going to talk about homes, okay, the Kerner family had a home donated to them, and they used the same program to raise their home. Okay, so if we're going to look at things, let's look at them fairly.
A home that was flooded
Okay.
on the ground. That's the difference. You don't get a brand new home and get to keep your own home. It's the first time it's ever happened in history. But that's what it happens whenever you're in politics and you feel like you can't be touched.
And look, there's a lot of things going on with that. Obviously, it will all sort itself out on Election Day. Let's start this question with you, Ms. Manuel. There are 3 municipalities in District 1 that people may not realize that. Gretna, Lafitte, Grand Isle. They've got their own mayor, their police chiefs, their council. If you are elected in 30 seconds, how would you work to make sure that you work with those elected officials in those municipalities?
First of all, my experience as a professional gives me the opportunity to use those resources such as collaboration. I know how to work in collaboration. As an educator, I know how to teach, and I also know how to learn. So what I would do is have a collaboration, and we would, each person, I'd have a listening tour and give them the opportunity to give me the things that they are concerned about, and we can come up with a reasonable solution on how to get results.
All right, 30 seconds, Mr. Template. What would be your plan to work with the 3 municipalities in Gretna, Lafitte, and Grand Isle that have their own elected bodies in District 1?
Look, I have a great experience of working with everyone. Part of the success of Jefferson Parish in the past has been unity and working together. You've noticed there's been a change in that since I've left office. There's more of a divide of dividing people and trying to conquer areas. I have the support of almost every mayor in the parish, every chief of police in the parish, and most of their council. I will daily work with those individuals to make sure their community's needs are met and through the parish.
All right, 30 seconds. You are a mayor in one of those municipalities. Gretna, Lafitte, Grand Isle, if you are elected, how would you work with the leaders there to make sure they're strong as well?
Yeah, look, I know what it's like, especially from a small town, when you get hit by storms, and Grand Isle and Lafitte's perfect examples of that. One thing I'm going to make sure to do that hasn't been done, I'm going to make sure that the bulk of hurricane funds actually gets spent in places that suffer the most damage for hurricanes. And Gretna is our cultural hub. It is our crown jewel. So although I want to make sure that unincorporated areas are helped and they get their fair share, I want to make sure that Gretna continues to grow and blossom, and we take advantage of the artists, the artists there, the talent there, and everything it has to offer, because it truly is the key to the West Bank.
All right. I wish we had more time. We are running out of time because we do want to give you all a chance to make a closing statement. Obviously, there were so many important areas, some questions we didn't get to. Tarrytown, Marrero, Harvey, business corridors there. I know that it's a priority for all of you all. You're probably all on the same page when it comes to helping to revitalize neighborhoods and businesses there. But unfortunately, we are out of time. Mr. Template, you've got 30 seconds. You finished us up on opening statements. You get to start us off. 30 seconds on why you feel you're the best candidate in this race.
Just let me say, look, I'm born and raised on the West Bank my whole life. And just like everybody else, we just want a safe place to be able to raise our children, raise our families, and have our grandchildren come home. That's what I fight for each and every day, to make sure we have a good quality of life, a safe business community, and great law enforcement each and every day. One of the things we need to address is the rising insurance cost. And I have an idea of creating a program, almost like your homestead exemption. Maybe we could have an insurance exemption for residents in Jefferson Parish, but we need to look at the pilot program to see if we can make that work, to bring our kids home and keep our seniors.
All right. Ms. Manuel, you have 30 seconds as the only Democrat in this race to let people know why you are the best why you feel you're the best candidate.
Again, thank you for this opportunity. And to the residents of District 1, I would like to say, please consider me being your counsel for District 1. I humbly ask for your support on March 29th for you to vote for number 5. I pledge to foster ethical, privilege. I promise to foster positive policy and procedure. I promise to do everything I can to give you a quality of life that you can appreciate from Gretna to Grand Isle.
All right, Mayor Kerner, you have 30 seconds to let people know why you feel you're the best candidate here.
So to all the voters, we stand at such a critical moment in West Bank. What we do here in District 1 will determine the future of the West Bank. And I am not satisfied with our parks and in the condition that they're in. I'm not satisfied with the stagnated economy with hardly any new businesses opening up other than a small, very small area. I'm not satisfied that, that the seniors have depleted resources. You know, we are the wealthiest parish in the state of Louisiana. Do you see that wealth in your neighborhood? My opponent says he brought billions of dollars, but you'd have to go on a treasure hunt to find it. So I ask for your vote to bring fairness, transparency, and somebody who's going to fight every single day for the people, not the political insiders. Thank you.
All right, Mayor Tim Kerner Jr., Andrea Manuel, and Ricky Templin, we appreciate your time. Election day is obviously March 29th. Please go out and vote. This is a key race in Jefferson Parish on the West Bank. You can see this entire segment starting Monday morning on WDSU.com.